explain you the plan of the today's work. The discussion point, we have taken 2 poems. As I told you earlier, I have selected these 2 poems, basically focusing grade 11. But as you know that grade 11 and 10 both students are completing the same syllabus, this will be a great help for grade 10 as well. Sometimes you might have done this poem, my first one. So those who have completed the first one, it might be a revision. Right. Then after discussing the poem, I want to tell you how to keep the notes, that is your own notes, before the exam. And the next thing I want to discuss, how to answer paper 1 and also paper 2 regarding, that means applying the learned things. Those are the 3 things I hope to discuss. And if you have any questions while I'm discussing, then you can on your mic and present your question. So then it will be a once again discussion point so that you can clarify your doubts. Is it okay?
Okay, madam.
Right. Okay. Then I have selected the poem. First one, Voice Kind. Do you remember that poem? That is for the first term of the grade 11. Right. Before coming to the poem, I just want to know what you already know about the poem. Right. So the topic, given topic is voice kind. I have a question. Is the voice kind?
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. Then you, everybody knows that voice not kind. But here the poet says voice kind. So we'll see what does the poet want to tell us. So when we talk about the topic, voice kind. So you got the idea, voice not kind. So at the same time, you have taken the idea, okay, the poet is going to tell us something ironically. So it is easy for you to understand the topic itself is ironic. Right. Then everybody knows that voice not kind. Right. According to your experience, can you tell me, does the war give us something good?
No, it
Yes.
is useless.
It is?
Useless.
Yeah? Then one says it is useless. Okay. Then, right. Right. War does not give us anything good. That one says that it is useless. Okay. What else? It doesn't give us anything good. It is useless, only that.
People lose their lives.
People lose their lives. Okay. Right. What else? What else happened?
Sometimes the territory might be caught by the partner.
Okay, that you are thinking when the struggle is going on, then one might be, the enemies might be caught, right? Okay. So when all those things happen, that we can easily see war does not give us anything good. Right. Now, before stepping to our poem, now everybody knows war is not kind, and also war does not give us anything good. Right. So then here we'll see how does the poet explain this situation with his poem, War is Kind. So, as you already know about something related to war, we'll see what is the theme in this particular poem, and how does the poet explain this particular theme, what type of poetic techniques the poet is using here, and how much they are effective, and what is the final message we get through this poem. Those are the things we are going to discuss with the poem. I hope everybody is having your anthology and turn to the relevant poem, Voice Kind. We'll go through line by line, so it will be easy for you to, that is, remind what you have learned, and those who have not studied, it will be a great help to study the poem. Right. Voice kind, then usually when we learn about a poem, we want to know something related to the poet. So who is the poet of this particular poem? Can you name the poet?
Stephen Crane.
Yeah, so it is given here. The most important thing, you want to remember the name of the poet as well as the correct spellings for that particular name. Right. So then, according to the given poem, we know this poet is American poet, and also he is innovative writer. But I think you need not to learn pages and pages about the poet. If you know at least 2-3 things related to the poet, that is enough for O-level exam. Right. Then we'll see the first verse. We can see the poet is addressing to somebody. Do not weep, maiden, for war is kind, because your lover threw wild hands towards the sky. So to whom that the poet is addressing there?
He is addressing to a
Yes.
wife.
Is he addressing to wife? Yes.
To the a soldier's wife who has died.
Do not weep, maiden, for war is kind. Yes. To whom the poet is addressing there? Maiden. So the word maiden indicate what? Yes, girls and boys, I would love to listen your answers. The poet is addressing to whom? Yes, everybody is silent. Right, we'll read the second line as well. Because your lover threw wild hand towards the sky. So what is the relationship with, yeah? I can't hear you well. Once again, read the first two lines and see the relationship between the soldier and the person who is addressing, that is, who is addressed by the poet. It's easy for you to find the relationship here. The poet says, "Do not weep, maiden, for woe is kind, because your lover threw wild hand towards the sky." So, who is the soldier here? When he comes to his personal life, he is a lover. Okay, right? Then here, so then the poet says, "Maiden, do not weep." Those words are like the words that he tries to console the maiden. And at the same time, he tries to tell the lady, this is the nature of the war. And without explaining that the line war is kind, it describes war is cruel. So the poet says that this is the nature of the war, so try to realize it. Then, and the affrighted steed ran on alone. Do not weep, voice kind. So there's another incident at the same moment. Now, where is the soldier at this moment? Is he at home or is he in the battlefield?
He has passed away.
Yeah, so that means yes, he passed away, then it's okay. I'm asking at home or at the battlefield.
At the
But
battlefield.
yeah, at the battlefield. So then, due to that, he died in the battlefield, and also that the poet explained who is alone at the same time.
The maiden.
Yeah, that's okay. That maiden becomes alone. That is right. So here I'm asking, I'm focusing regarding the third line. The poet has mentioned about another thing. A frightened steed ran on alone. A frightened steed. The soldier, because he has gone to the battlefield with the horse. So when these things happen, it got frightened. So the frightened horse ran away. He lost his master as well. So there once again you can see, do not weep, voice kind. It is a repetition. Usually, most of the poem, repetition has taken to highlight the given fact. So there we can see the poet wants to reveal the maiden. This is the nature of the war, and he is trying to console that lady. This is pathetic situation. So due to that, poet sees the pathetic situation of the maiden. At the same time, poet sees the reality of the war. So he is trying to explain these two situations while describing this poem. In the first verse, he addresses the maiden. So there we can see when this lover lost his life in the battlefield, what happens to this maiden? Yes, she becomes alone. What else? What happens to her? Yes, children?
She is heartbroken.
Yes, she is heartbroken. She loses all her hopes because when she has a lover, that is, she wants to build up number of hopes with that incident. She might have planned to have a good marriage, to build up a good house, to have some children. Likewise, she might have planned about her future. But with this, because of the war, what happened? Can she continue her planning?
No.
No, she won't be able to continue her planning. And the other thing that she doesn't have any of the person to protect her life. Now she become hopeless here. So with this, we can easily see this is the outcome of the war. We can see that maiden does not involve in the war directly in the battlefield. But who directly involved in the battlefield?
The lover.
Yes, the lover. That is, the lover is the personal role that soldier is performing. In the battlefield, he is a soldier. So then here soldier has become the victim of the war. So the loved ones, they have become once again indirect victims of the war. So we can easily see here how these things happen, that is make problems to the ordinary masses. Right. So we'll come to the second verse. Hoarse booming drums of the regiment, little souls who thirst for fight. So there the poet is explaining the situation of the regiment. Usually, all these soldiers, they belong to a regiment. I think you remember in our country also, you remember Gajaba regiment, likewise number different regiment. So here, when this death happens, what is the reaction of the regiment? Yes,
They are
what is the
showing their honor towards the died person.
yeah, the first thing? What can they hear?
Booming drum.
Booming drums. Is it the good music to hear? We can hear.
No.
No, that nobody loves to listen that particular sound. So there we have given that is those are the things when happen when soldiers die. And little soul who thirst for fight. Here, little souls refer to whom?
The people in the army, like the small ones.
Yeah, that mean all the soldiers. So that is very sympathetic way poet look at these soldiers. He feels sorry about these people. That is why he has used this adjective little souls. He want to tell us they have the thirst for fight. Why do they have thirst for fight?
Because it
And
is their job.
yes, very good, because it is their responsibility. It is their duty. When there is a soldier, it is his duty fight with the enemies. If I am a teacher, it is my duty to teach the children properly. If it is a doctor, it is his or her duty, give some treatments to the patients and look after them and survive their lives. Those, so due to that different jobs, we can see they have different duties. So here the soldiers, their duty is fighting with the people. That is, fighting mean not because of every time they are fighting, because when they go to the battlefield, usually they have planned how to uh, fight with their enemies. So that is why here we have given they have the thirst for the fight. These men were born to drill and die. Once again, poet explained the situation of the people. These men mean the soldiers. They were born to drill and die. So once again, poet sees very sympathetic way. They were born to drill and die. Drill and die. What does it mean, drill?
They
What is
have to work
indicate?
hard and hard, and at last they have to die their life useless.
Yeah, that means usually the soldier's life, it is not really a very easy life. They have to face number of difficulties. They have to get the proper training. So likewise, in their life, they are drilling and finally drill and die. We know everybody dies, but here specifically the poet stresses that as a soldier he has to face his death anytime due to the war. We know that is uncertainty is there, but even though here poet explain the ferocious situation of the war. Okay, is it clear to everybody?
Yes.
Yes, madam.
Right. Then the unexplained glory flies above them. Great is the battle, God great and his kingdom. A field where 1,000 corpses lie. We'll come to the line, the unexplained glory. Now, in this poem, the poet wants to show us, that means he points out the negation of the glorification of the war. That is the theme. I will explain you later. So here, this line, it explains unexplained glory flies above them. Who are them here?
The major people in the army.
Them. Once again, unexplained glory flies above them.
The soldiers.
Yeah, that is soldiers. Soldiers who fight in the battlefield, who die. Then these people were indicated by them. So, what will happen when they die? Usually, when they die in a battle, they are explained as heroes, war heroes. Right? Then, yes, uh, after the death, they become war heroes. Is there a value of that for those people?
No, there isn't.
Yes, that is why the poet very sarcastically say the glory is unexplained. While they are living, while they are doing their duty, they don't see any of the glorification. After the death, they have been, that is named as the war heroes. So the glory is unexplained. So that is why the poet sarcastically emphasized that glorification. Then the next two lines, the poet uses metaphors. God is the battle. Great is the battle, God great and his kingdom. So here that the poet uses God and his kingdom. They are metaphors comparing the battle and the battlefield. So metaphorically, he explains for the soldiers, battle is the God. Okay? Then for them, kingdom, what is the kingdom then? If the battle is God, what is the kingdom?
It
Yes?
is,
Sorry?
it is the place where the God is living.
Yes, usually we know that is the place where God is living. Right. According to this poem, the poet metaphorically uses the battle as the God. So if that battle is the God, what is the kingdom according to the poem?
The battlefield.
Yes, very good. That is the battlefield. Battlefield is the kingdom. So remember, metaphorically, the poet uses these two words, God and the kingdom. And once again, the last line of the second verse, a field where 1,000 crops lie. Now we know that is the kingdom, that according to the poem, the kingdom is the battlefield. Okay? Kingdom is the battlefield. But there, the last line explain this particular kingdom, explanation of the place. What can we see there in that particular kingdom?
Many people are dead and staying at the same place.
Yeah, that is the 1,000 crops lie. That means uncount. That is that we can't count the number of the people who died in that particular place. So there, how do you feel about that kingdom? Do you feel happy or do you feel proud of that particular kingdom?
It is an unpleasant place to stay.
Yeah, very good. We get that very unpleasant feeling. We don't like to say it is a kingdom. If it is a kingdom, there should be good things and there should be things for us to be proud. But here, unpleasant things, that means dead bodies, uncountable number of dead bodies. So there, once again, the poet explains the ferocity of the war. It brings, that means, very beginning we talk about war does not give us anything good. So here, heartbroken people, they loses their hopes. Now here the untimely death. Now you can remember, we are talking about the death of a lover. Death of a lover. Right? In the regiment, he is a soldier. But outside his regiment, he is a lover. So then there we can see what happens to these people. Right. So then first two things, we talk about the fate of this particular soldier as a lover. So then the second part, we'll see to whom the poet is addressing there. Do not weep, babe, for war is kind. Okay, this time he is addressing to whom?
A small child.
Yeah, small child. It might be a baby girl or it might be a baby boy. We don't know, right? So then here, once again, the poet is repeating, war is kind. That means he wants to tell us war is cruel. Okay? Then, because your father tumbles in the yellow trenches. Now, this time, who loses the life?
Father.
Small child.
Father. Yes, that is father. So there we can see, is this the same way? The lover and father, they died in the battlefield. Is it the same way? Did they die the same way or different way?
Different way.
Different way. So there we have given, where is that father?
Lying dead in the battlefield.
Yeah, he is also in the battlefield, but different technique here he is using to fight with the enemy. What is the technique he is using here?
He fell to the deep.
Yes, he is hidden in a trench. He is hidden in a trench. Why is that? There
Being
are two
attacked.
purposes. Yeah, one purpose, he wants to attack enemies, and also there's another reason,
To
hiding.
hide from the enemy
Yeah,
and
that
then
is for his safe. He wants to safeguard his life and to attack the enemies. That is why that he is in these
Yes.
trenches. And also the
Yes.
poet is using the color yellow trenches. What type of effect is there that is regarding that using this particular adjective yellow? Yes, rather than telling blue trench or green, likewise, that here the poet uses yellow trenches.
Symbolism.
Yeah, that is once again, that is for his safe. He has used this type of place. Uh, Rage at his breast, gulped and died. So there we can see what type of difficulties he faced at the last moment. He couldn't get his breath very softly. It was difficult for him to breathe at this moment. Though he tried to attack enemies, before his action, who comes first there?
Valentine.
Yeah, that is his enemy. His enemy comes first. That is why he died here. Then once again, the repetition is here. Do not weep, boy is kind. So I think when you are studying this poem, it is easy for you to remember these quotations. Do not take much trouble to study. When while you are studying, automatically those things you can easily learn. Right now we know the poet has already addresses two people, maiden and baby. And there are two roles, lover and father. But in the regiment, those two people are soldiers. So we'll see third one, to whom the poet is addressing there. Yeah, before that, once again, the reaction of the regiment. Swift blazing flag of the regiment, eagle with crest of red and gold. Right. Early death, we notice only the sounds of the drum. Now here, what can we see there? Regiment, what can we see there?
There is a blazing flag.
Yeah, they can see only the flags and flags that you have given, eagle with crest of red and gold. Why these colors the poet has taken, that the symbol of the eagle and those colors?
Eagle symbolizes the strong and braveness.
Braveness, a strong, that is usually you have seen the flags of those regiments. Eagle, that is also symbol to show the braveness. And these two colors, red and gold, pride and dignity also there. But these dying soldiers, can they see this pride or dignity? Can they see them? No, they won't be able to see it. Once again, the poet sarcastically explained these men were born to drill and die. So they are one, we can see how does the poet look at this situation. Point for them the virtue of slaughter. Make the plain to them the excellence of killing. Right. We'll see these two lines. Excellence of killing. Can you say when there is killing, can we explain it as excellent work? Yes?
No.
No. We won't be able to explain it as excellent work. But we know that as soldiers, their duty is fighting with the enemies. So ultimately, they have to kill their enemies. So that is why then who says this is excellent? Killing is excellent. Who says this? When you are doing the poems that you want to be a critical thinker, then who says the killing is excellent?
The poet.
Poet says, but here poet says that he wants to show us in the society there is a party. They see this killing as excellent work.
War makers.
The ones who are like the commanders.
Especially the people who make the war, that means the war makers. Even the commanders, all these people, they are under this regiment, I think. Right? So then here, war makers, they think killing is the excellent thing. So that with this, that very innocent soldiers, they have been motivated. So that is why they have the thirst for fight. And a field where 1,000 corpses lie. So that is the ultimate result we can get. When we get this line, where 1,000 corpses lie, we feel sympathy because they die in vain. The other thing, untimely. What is the other thing? What is the other point? Have a point, Ekak. Yes? Yes, Puta?
unpleasant,
unpleasant, and also usually when a person die in their own home, they get the respectable funeral. Now this time we can't expect that due to corona also we get that is unexpected thing. But here I mean that the ordinary way, when a person die, that person get a respected funeral. But here these soldiers, though they have worked for their own country, though they have completed their own duty, they are losing that respected funerals as well. So we feel sympathy. Is it clear?
yes, madam.
Right. Okay. Then we'll come to the last part of the poem. Mother, whose heart humble as a button, on her bright splendid shroud of your son, voice kind. Okay, this time the poet is addressing to another person. Who is that?
Mother.
A mother,
Mother. Poet addresses to mother. Right? Then who is in the regiment there?
The son.
the son,
Son. Okay. Now you can see lover, father, son. Here, maiden, baby, mother. Now this time you can see the situation of the mother. What can that mother can see here?
his son dead in the battlefield.
Yeah, that is the dead body of the son. That is why you have given here mother whose heart hung humble as a button on the bright, splendid shroud of your son. The dead body is there. It is covered with that. The coffin is covered with a splendid thing. Is there a value for that mother?
No, there isn't because she lost her own son.
Yeah, she doesn't have any value of that splendid shroud. All her hopes, all her love is with her live son. Now here the dead body. So that is why the poet explained the mother's situation. Humble as a button. So that is to show her agony. How much she is worried there. The poet uses the technique simile to show her agony. The last line once again, voice kind. So very beginning the title is also voice kind. Finally, the last line also voice kind. So very beginning of the poem, you everybody agreed, voice not kind. We'll see here. Now this is the regiment. We'll get all. Now we are going to divide all the soldiers into three groups, right? So they might be a son, they might be a lover, they might be a father, right? We can easily divide all these soldiers into these three categories, can't we? Can't we do it easily?
We can.
Yes, we can easily do it. That means each and every soldier belongs to any of this group in a regiment. That means while they are doing their duty, All these are soldiers. But when they come to the outside world, they, in their personal life, they have different roles. But for the regiment, they are losing only a soldier. Here, when they come to their personal life, number of people are losing this person. So due to that, we can see how the war make ferocious situation and how these ordinary people or how these ordinary masses become victims of the war. In your answer, when you are writing, you can easily argue, due to this war, these things happen. So that is why the poet says the war is not kind. Ironically, the poet says war is kind, but he wants to show us war is not kind. Right? Okay. Then I just want now here in this time, I explain only the incident of the poem. Incident of the poem. When you want to make a note, right? I am going to tell you how can you prepare your own note. Do you have a habit of preparing mind maps?
Yes, madam.
Right. Then everybody, have you prepared mind maps earlier for all your poems?
Yes, teacher.
Now,
Yes,
yes.
teacher.
Now you can, here I have given you a structure of the mind map. Basically, you can start with the name of the poem. And usually when you write answer, there should be proper organization. When you prepare a mind map, it is easy for you to see the organization. We are starting name of the poem with the name of the poet and little explanation about the poet. Then we are coming to the theme. After the theme, we want to discuss the incident. While describing the incident, the most important things are poetic techniques. So you can check what type of poetic techniques are available in the poem. අපිට දුන්න poem එකේ මොනතරම් අපිට devices තියෙනවද හොයන්න. So you can take them. Then write the example. For each and every poetic technique, you are going to write the example from the poem. Then if there's anything special detail, you can write it in another column. Then finally, the message, the theme and the message. Then there you can see, you can finalize your answer. Right. Now I will show you how I have prepared my mind map focusing the poem Voice Kind. Okay. Can you everybody see it clearly?
Yes, madam.
Yes,
Yes.
teacher.
Is this the way usually you have prepared the mind map, or is there a difference here?
No, teacher.
Yes. Is it the same way or is there a difference?
No different.
That is different. Okay. So then this is something like you are preparing your short note, isn't it? Yeah, though you have bulky notes with you, just before the exam, it is hard for you to read all those bulky things. So when you have those notes, when you can easily prepare a mind map, there you are going to write only the very important facts so that you can elaborate your answer using all those facts. Right? If you need, I can send you these mind maps. If you want to prepare the same thing, I can send it to you. Right. Now we'll see. I told you the theme of this poem. What is the theme we have taken here? Yes,
War is kind.
that is the name of the poem, Puta. I am asking the theme. Theme. Now you are familiar with the poet and all those things. Theme.
Negation of the glorification of war.
Yeah, that we know the major theme we have taken here conflict, but under this we have taken the specific theme in this poem, negation of glorification of the war. I think you know glorification. ඒ කියන්නේ බොහොම ශ්‍රී විභූතිය ආඩම්බරය. That is
Fame
war makers think there is glorification. But here the poet wants to show us the reality of the war. There is no glorification. That is the idea, negation of the glorification of the war. Is it clear for you?
Yes, teacher.
Yeah. So then you remember this is the thing the poet highlights. So the given techniques. The first thing, what is there? Even with the title, we have taken the irony. But in the poem, the most important thing, the poet uses verbal irony. That is why he says, do not weep. එයා කියනවා අපිට කතා කරන භාෂාවක් පාවිච්චි කරලා තියෙනවා. So that is why we call it verbal irony. It is very powerful. And the next thing he uses there, sarcasm. While I'm explaining also, I have taken that line. These men were born to drill and die. Then when we talk about visual imagery, throughout the poem, we can easily get the visual imagery. Then there are some alliteration. I have taken some examples. Then we'll come to the next one, metaphors. In my explanation also, I got it. Great is the battle, God, great and his kingdom. Then symbols. There's number of symbols. I have taken only few. Wild hands. Wild hands symbolize what? It is a symbol. It symbolizes, so it refers to what? Wild hands. Very beginning of the poem අපිට මුලින්ම හම්බුනේ. Your lover through wild hands. That is to show the ferocity of the war. Then number of symbols I have taken here. Then the last thing, simile. I think everybody remembers where's the simile. What is it? Yes?
Mothers whose heart hung humble as a bottle.
Button, right? Okay. Then can you tell me what is the tone of this poem? In this poem, the poet has used the tone critical and sarcastic. Critical and sarcastic. Even from the topic, title, very critical way, the poet uses it. The tone is sarcastic and critical. Then in my special details, I have mentioned there what does the poem create. Can you tell me what does the poem create? Yes, go through the special details and tell me the short answer.
Poignancy.
Yeah,
Contrast and
that is
glorification of the war.
yes, yeah, that is true. The controversial situation and also the pathos for dying soldiers and also their loved ones. Soldiers and their loved ones. In your answer, remember that. Not only the soldiers, even the loved ones. And yes, now here the poet contrast the two things. What are those two things? What are the two things the poet contrasts here?
Reality
The
and
reality.
glorification of
Yes, the reality of the war and also the glorification, because the war makers say there is glorification. That is a motivation for the soldiers. So their poet contrasts glorification and the reality of the war. Right. Finally, we'll see the message. With all those things, what does the poet try to tell us?
That
War
war,
makers, yes, Puta, right.
that war is making more trouble than it caused.
Yes, that is also, it also happens. Usually war costs a lot of money for the weapons and all those things. It costs a lot. Then the things we get, that is there a value for that cost?
No, madam.
No, we don't get that. That is in vain. So the uh, finally we get only the, that is people get experience of the brutality, inhumanity, untimely death, sorrow, and the pain. Those are the things finally the people earn, people get. So that is why here the theme becomes negation of the glorification. Right. So then ultimately, when you study this poem, you have to think, okay, when there is a war for different situations, different incidents, maybe in different countries, so you want to think, is there a value of it? Right? Right. Then we'll see how to answer questions from this poem. Grade 11. I don't know whether all the participants are grade 11 or 10. So then grade 11 children, have you noticed some question focus in O-level exam that voice kind? In which year the questions were given? Yes? Have you gone through past papers or not yet? Okay, it doesn't matter. You might have seen, or sometimes you might not have seen those things. When you have time, I think before the exam, you want to go through some of the past papers. 2019, if you carefully look at the paper, they have taken question for paper 1 from voice kind. At the same time, they have taken the same poem to the paper 2 as well. So it means that the same poem, with the same poem, how many marks you can earn? Yes? Such situations, how many marks you can earn there? I don't get any answer. Yes, children, can you hear me well?
Yes, teacher.
Yes, teacher.
Yeah. Yes, my question that if the if you get question from the same poem for the paper 1 and paper 2, it has happened 2019, how many marks you can earn from there? That means 20 marks you can easily earn, 15 marks for the second paper, and the first paper, once again, the collection might be 20. I think in your paper, the structure might be little, that means not the paper 2, first paper might be a bit difference, but not difficult. Right. I don't know whether you are having those papers or not. I will explain you one question, that is paper 1. Usually we are taking 2 lines from the given poem. Now, can you underline these 2 lines? Because your lover threw wild hands towards the sky, and the affrighted steed ran on along the sky. Underline those 2 lines. Ready?
Yes, madam.
Right. Then the first question, from where are these lines taken? Name the poet. It is easy for you to answer because now only we have completed this poem. If you want, you can write down the question. From where are these lines taken? Name the poet. Right? Section B. What does the action in the first line indicate? What does the action in the first line indicate? Why does the steed run away? I get unnecessary noises. Section C. What is the theme reflected in the 2 lines? Right. Is there? Right, okay. Then we'll see the section B and section C. Right, section B, I asked the question, what does the action in the first line indicate? Now look at the underline line that earlier I told you to underline 2 lines. So look at the first line and tell me, what does the action in the first line indicate? That particular action indicates something. What is it? Yes? I need your responses. Can somebody answer for that question? Just see the action.
The soldiers had died painfully in the battlefield. The soldiers,
Once again,
the soldiers
soldier,
dead. Yes, the soldiers dead painfully in the battlefield.
uh, now once again look at the question, what does the action in the first line indicate? So due to that we can say, need not to talk about soldiers, because in the line it explain about the fate of one soldier, right? So then you can say the soldier faced difficulties and died in the battlefield, because there we are focusing the fate of only one person. Is it clear?
Yes, teacher.
Yeah, because we can't write the answer generally. Have to write the very specific answer. Focusing the අපි අර poem එකේදී we get the common idea. But here focus on the given line. Then why does the steed run away? Why does the steed run away?
Because it is afraid.
Yeah, because it is afraid. Very good. Because it is afraid. Then yes. Then next thing, section C. What is the theme reflected in the 2 lines? Not the common theme. එහෙමනම් අපි we have to focus on the given 2 lines. What is the theme?
Negation of the glorification of war.
Yes, and also you can say the reality of the war, the destructive situation of the war. Your answer might be like that. Remember, when you write the answers for the first part, your answers should be very specific. No need to write lengthy answers or paragraphs and paragraph. Have to focus the question, read 2-3 times, and get the very specific one. Right. Then 2019 second part, that is paper 2. Paper 2, the given question is, war is not kind. Discuss how this idea is presented in the poem. War is kind. Now, very easy. We want to prove what is the thing we want to prove.
War is not kind.
Yes, war is not kind. But in our answer, you want to identify that when you write the question, you want to explain how the poet begins the poem with ironical topic, title. And you can explain the incident precisely, showing the brutality, untimely death, all those things as I explained you now. And also you can put your argument. Can you tell me what type of argument we can place there? In our answer, what type of arguments we can put, we can include? While I'm explaining, I show you some arguments. Can somebody tell me one argument? ඒ කියන්නේ ඕගොල්ලෝ ප්‍රශ්න කරනවා. මෙන්න මේ දේ වෙන්නේ කොහොමද කියන එක. So what is the argument you can put there? Yes. ඉතින් අපිට A B passes ගන්න නම් අපේ argument තියෙන්න ඕනේ පුතේ උත්තරවල. Right? I ask you how killing becomes excellent work. Likewise, you can put some arguments there. And in your answer, you can explain due to the war, mostly males lose their lives. That is why you have given the examples. Lover, father, son, likewise. So due to that, you can explain about the untimely death. And was separated people. All these times, the separation, relationships broken, right? Then the other thing, the poetic techniques, how they have become very effective. Then your final decision, that is with the message, you can explain that. So for homework, you can prepare a mind map, and also you can write answer for the second part question, war is not kind. Discuss how it describes in the poem. Right? You can complete that part as well. Then I wanted to know whether you can continue the second poem. Are you tired, or are you sleepy, or will you be able to continue? It is up to you. Yes, children? දැන් නින්ද ගිහිල්ලාද නිදි මතද මට පේන්නේ නෑනේ ගොඩක් අයව.
I have school classes.
Sorry?
I have school classes.
Then the others?
I can do.
Just, I want to know how many will be there. One says that one person is having another class from their school, likewise. But some says that they can continue. Just send a message here. No, okay. You just tell me whether you can continue or not. It is easy for me.
Can, madam.
Yes, I heard 2-3 people. What about the others? Chill out, son, children, very silent, no responses. Why is that? So mostly when we are doing a session, that your responses are very much important, Putta. Otherwise, we don't No, unlike in the physical classroom, it is difficult for us to see your emotions. In a physical class, it is easy for us to tackle the troubles there. So your responses are very much important. Then it will be successful then, the session. Right, okay. Anyway, as there are some children, those who want to continue the session, we'll start the second poem, Two's Company. Right, okay. Two's Company, that is for grade 11, last term. I hope you have not completed this poem. Two's Company, like the early poem. Can you tell me what is the major theme of this poem? We study this poem under the theme of, what is the theme? The main theme is given here. Voice kind, I told you that we studied under conflict. Here, this one?
Humor.
Yes. Yeah, it is under the main theme, humor. Two's Company. Then you have given, this is a story about a man who didn't believe the ghost. Right? So then we get the question. This is a story of a man who didn't believe the ghost. Right. So then we get a question. Then is there, that means, are there people, they believe ghost? Then according to the poem, we can see two different parties in the society. Who are they? Yes, according to the poem, we can see two different sets or the two different parties. Yes?
One who believe mythical beliefs and the other one who do not believe mythical ones.
Yeah, that is that there are people, they believe that there are the ghosts are available, and there are some people, they believe the ghosts are not available. So then now you think, which group do you belong? Yes?
I believe in ghosts.
Yes, that one says I believe. Yes?
Do not believe.
Okay, it happens. Normally, there should be two categories. That is why usually in the society also the same thing happened. Who didn't believe and who believed. Right, we'll see with this incident, what does the poet try to tell us? Right? Then we'll start with the poem. They said the house was haunted, but he laughed at them and said, "Tut, tut." Now, according to the first line, who are referred as they?
The people who believe in ghosts.
Yes, the people who believe in ghosts. That is, they refer to that. And he laughed at them. Then who is he here? He, the man who, yes,
Who
the
doesn't
man,
believe in ghosts.
the man who didn't believe ghosts is referred as he. So what is the reaction of that man?
He laughed.
Yeah, he laughed at them. Other people says there's a house that is haunted house. What is the difference between the other houses and this particular house? This house was haunted. That means there were many ghosts. We'll see. So this man is laughing. His laughing shows what?
He doesn't believe in ghosts.
Yeah, he condemns those people's idea, right? I've never heard such tittle tattle. Now the experience of this man. Once again, I refer to the man. Then he thinks, I've never heard such tittle tattle. Tittle tattle? What
It
is
is
meant by
like,
tittle? Sorry?
it is like,
Tittle.
it is
Yeah,
like
it is.
sound.
Tittle tattle. I just want to know the meaning. Tittle tattle. Tittle tattle mean that man thinks unimportant things. That haunted house, the news is unimportant. That means he thinks it is like a gossip. Okay, right. Then as ghost that groan and chains that rattle. Now here that you have given the action, what these ghosts are doing, they make sounds. Yeah, they make sounds and sometimes they rattle some chains as well. And just to prove I am in the right, please leave me here to spend the night. Now that person is speaking here. The one who doesn't believe God is speaking in the poem. He is requesting from the other people. What is his request?
Leave
What is,
him there alone to spend the night.
yeah, that particular haunted house, he has gone there with the other people and asking, okay, let me to be in this home alone. Why is that? Why does he want to be there alone?
To
To
prove he's
prove that he is correct.
Yes, he wanted to prove. He wanted to prove. That is very important. He wanted to prove that he is correct. He is correct. His decision is correct. That means he doesn't believe God. That due to that he is correct. others are wrong. That is what he wanted to prove there. And they left him just as dusk was falling, with a hunchback moon and screech owls calling. Now the ghostly atmosphere is given there. What type of atmosphere? It is the time darkness is starting. And hunchback moon. Hunchback moon indicate what? It reveals what?
Crescent.
Yeah, it's yeah. So due to that, what is the atmosphere? Now think of a full moon day and this hunchback moon. What is the difference? Then less light is there. Outside, more darkness, less light. And that is the ghostly atmosphere the poet is creating. But what is that? Outside, it seemed as if chains rattle, someone scream. Now the man is alone in the house. Now he can hear different sounds. What are the sounds he can hear there? Yes? Two sounds he can,
Owl
yes.
scream.
Yeah, chains rattling and the owl screaming, and also someone is screaming. He doesn't know. Someone is screaming. Come, come. It's merely nervous. He's certain. But just the same, he draws the curtain. Now this man can hear those noises outside the house. Now what is the reaction of the man? One who came to prove there are no ghosts. Now what is the reaction of that man?
He is certain.
He is bit fear. We can see.
Taking precautions.
Yeah, yes, he is taking precautions. Now, what is the first action he is doing there?
Draws off the curtain.
Draws the curtain. If he is not fear, what type of action we expect?
He would go outside and see.
Yes, definitely. Because we are expecting the man with, as a brave person, he would come out and see the directions where the sounds are coming. But instead of that, we can see he is a man with fear. So that is why he is taking precautions. But at the same time, that why that those lines are given in brackets? But that just the same, he draws the curtain. That is the reaction of this man. Why? What is the purpose of putting those things in brackets?
To emphasize it.
Yeah, the emphasize, and the other thing, Puta, here that how the decision he takes, he is going to justify. He is going to justify his own decision, because now we are expecting he would come out and see the situation, but he got another different action. But at the same time, he is trying to justify his reaction. The stroke of 12, but there's no clock. Now, very nice. Stroke of 12 can be heard, but in the house, what is missing?
The clock.
There is no clock.
No, no clock. but only the sound is coming. So what is the technique the poet is using here? The clock stroke of 12, auditory imagery. So remember that. And he shuts the door and turns